Jared in Washington. Jared in Washington, you're on the Norman Goldman Show.
Hey, Norman. Just calling to say I haven't really heard a lot of my friends talking about how the job market is improving or anything. But here in Washington, if you were going to get a job, it'd probably be in one of two things. We've got high tech. You've probably heard of Boeing and Microsoft.
I sure have.
We've got agriculture. You've probably heard of Washington apples and Walla Walla sweet onions.
Hey, I've eaten Washington apples and Walla Walla sweet onions.
And you see the two sides come together perfectly in Moses Lake, Washington, where they're building BMW electric cars, and they're using fiber-reinforced composite material, and the fiber is industrial hemp. And they're bringing the hemp in from far away, which is kind of ridiculous because they could easily grow it here in Washington.
Absolutely right.
And which is why I encourage people to go to sensiblewashington.org and help us increase the job market for hemp farmers here in Washington.
Are you aware that I did a fundraiser for Sensible Washington?
I actually met you that day. That was awesome.
Well, hey, and I'm happy to come back and do more for you. I mean, industrial hemp is something we ought to be doing in a huge way.
Definitely.
And legalizing marijuana and taxing it like alcohol and tobacco.
And Colorado is actually going to have a real good chance to legalize marijuana. And I recommend you take a look at the news about that if you can. It's pretty interesting.
I'd love to. And in fact, in California, we had a ballot initiative to legalize marijuana, and it came close. It came close, and as the population ages, and the older folks who were dead set against it because they, had all this, reefer madness stuff drummed into their heads, as they depart the scene, and as the young kids come up and get more politically involved and register the vote, there's no doubt, Jared, that one day, very soon, various states, yours and mine, yours Washington, mine California, we're going to be legalizing marijuana. We're going to be taxing it. There is a group up in Oakland, California. My friends on AM 960, I'm sure, know this. There's a lot of abandoned large factories, empty factories in Oakland, which is the East Bay, in the Bay Area, and those factories have been purchased, and the guys who bought them are just waiting for legalizing marijuana because those old abandoned factories are perfect grow houses for marijuana. And Jared, you talk about job creation, you talk about taxes, man. They're good. Think of all these abandoned old buildings that can be rejuvenated and resuscitated. They can put solar panels up on the roof, right, to get the electricity for the lights to grow the reefer. I mean, this is the only thing standing between us and a booming new industry that's going to create new jobs is a bunch of, church ladies and their prejudices. Jared, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Prove me I'm wrong.
The movie The Union explains the underground market, and, we can have that underground market come above ground, and we can start taxing it and recording the number of employed people, and that would, make the unemployed numbers change. Right now, everybody working on the black market counts as unemployed, I would imagine.
Well, and it's funny you mention that, because with all of the long-term unemployed that we've got in this current depression that we're in, people that have gone off unemployment and stuff because they've run out of unemployment, my theory is that many of them are engaged in the underground economy. And, I don't want to ask them, and I don't want them to come on these airwaves and say that they're doing it, because I don't want to get anybody into any trouble. But it's the only thing that makes sense to me, Jared, is if you're somebody that has totally run out of unemployment, if you've got no resources and nobody who's going to help you out, I mean, isn't drug dealing the only natural alternative?
And you can see the parallels between alcohol prohibition and marijuana prohibition, and law enforcement against prohibition points that out a lot.
Did you see the three-part Ken Burns documentary on prohibition?
Yeah, it actually affected Washington significantly. We had a Seattle police officer who was pretty high up, also engaged in black market alcohol, got fired from his police position and was able to focus entirely on the sale of black market alcohol. And he was actually pretty good at it.
And became one of the biggest bootleggers in the United States. Jared, I love you. I think you're great. Listen, send me an email to norm at normangoldman.com and tell all the other good folks at sensiblewashington.org to get back in touch with me. I'm happy to come up there. I'd love to come up there and help you all out. I mean, Vivian McPeak and everybody there at HempFest, I'm a huge fan. I hope you know of all of this. We need some common sense to retake the United States. Enough with the church ladies already. Enough with the Rick Sanitariums and their pontificating and their moralizing. Live your own life and leave me alone. Can't